This sales funnel is the best and most profitable one I think I've ever used. It's the best performing one on the front end I think I've personally used in the last several years, and the framework it's built off of consistently generates tens of thousands of dollars for myself and, of course, for my clients. Now, I'm going to be breaking everything down for you, every single step you need to take in order for you to implement this in your own business. And the best part is it doesn't even really matter what product it is and what niche you're in. So let's go ahead and jump in. And just to show you, this is one example. This is just a front-end product. These are not back-end sales for my coaching or courses. So in one section, it's generated over $68,000. And this is just another one with $8,000. But I think that's really exciting, especially because I wasn't spending that much money on ads. And it was always predictably profitable on a front end. So for every dollar I was putting in, I was getting typically about $2 out, which might not be mind-blowing to you if you're used to doing this process. But I love the fact that it wasn't just break even. It was actually making money regardless of whether I made any money on the back end. So what is this funnel? It's a pretty simple structure. You send traffic to a landing page where you talk about that particular offer. You have a little pop-up to collect leads. After they get to the next page, they're able to purchase that particular product. And there's a few different things that we have on there. And then we send them to the delivery page where you can move them into the next step. So I'm going to break every single part of it down and give you some steps and tips for you to consider as you're building out yours. So this is what the page actually looked like. It's a pretty short page compared to a lot of other sales pages that you might be seeing out there. And there's a few very important aspects that I wanted to focus on. The main thing that I always want to include in my page is we wanted to have a visual representation of what the digital product is. So for me, one of the most effective digital products have been downloadables. So they've been ebooks, workbooks, things like that, that people really understand and that you can present in a physical way. So I was able to create this ebook and I actually printed it out. And for a lot of my ads, showcased me holding the physical version of the workbook. Now, in order for the sales page to look also like, okay, this is an actual thing I'm getting, we needed to have a 3D mockup, which you can create very easily in Canva to put directly on the beginning of the page. The other thing that's very important is having an outcome-oriented headline. When you focus on the outcome of your product, people will understand the value of paying for it. The other thing that's important here is we have a few testimonials. We wanted to specifically focus on the testimonials that are speaking to the product. So instead of focusing on these big outcomes that people tend to have, oh my gosh, like I created this launch and I did all these different things, I wanted to focus on the thing we're actually helping people with so that when a visitor sees this page, it feels achievable, but it also feels big enough where they are excited by it. Next, the most important thing is we have a button right up here, but you'll notice that we don't actually have a price point prominently featured on this. But if you look at every single button, you see that it says get the workbook for $7. We also have a mention here, get the workbook for $7, but we don't have it anywhere like in big words. So I've tested this quite a bit. And for me, it always works the best when I click on the button and a little pop-up appears. So essentially, I'm collecting the lead. That's all I'm doing at this stage. I could send people to the checkout page directly, but again, in my testing, it actually has performed way better for me to just collect their name and email and then send them to the checkout page. This is the checkout page. We are hosting this in Thrivecart. I use pretty much all of my checkout pages, my funnels on Thrivecart, and it's because I like having everything in one place. So this is a structure that's worked really well. I have that visual representation on the checkout page here. I tell them that they can download the workbook for $7. They can fill out their information again. And this is actually something that I haven't seen people doing, but it's a really helpful way to increase your average order value. So instead of just receiving a workbook, they can opt to receive a workbook and a training bundle. And I tell them how much extra it's going to be. Just adding this option brought me in $20,000 in comparison to only $11,000 for people who only chose that $7 workbook. So that's a super easy tweak that you can add to any of your front-end offers. Then, of course, we have a traditional order bump. So in this case, I'm teaching people how to create a group coaching program. What's an easier thing to help them create that group coaching program? Well, I can give them some Canva templates. So I provide them with a few Canva templates. They can add this on and then they can move to the next step. Next, I had 2 upsells in the funnel as well. This first upsell is $67. Here I'm talking about, hey, I'm going to show you what I've learned about group programs and specifically go into a behind the scenes case study of a specific group program I created and ran that ended up making me almost almost $300,000. And I basically have a little video that talks about being able to create your own group program. And I make a list of all the things that I'm actually going to cover. That's pretty much all that is. And then I tell them that they can purchase this for $67. So I had a pretty good take rate on this. And that is actually an upsell that I still use to this day in various funnels as well. The second upsell I use is essentially a process for renewing clients because my next step offer is helping people sell their program as a result of purchasing the front end offer. So what I did with this upsell is essentially future paced. I'm like, hey, your group program is going to be so successful. You're going to be enrolling clients. You're going to be having this thing. What's going to be your next problem to have? Well, how do I make sure these clients stay with me? So that's essentially what I'm doing with this upsell. Now, once people have purchased, I actually created a separate page where they are reminded of the next step. And in this example, I wanted people to apply for my Evergreen Icon program. Here, I wanted them to join the waitlist or application for the program. So I actually gave them two options. They can download the workbook. They can access the upgrades. I also had order bumps and upsells, and those are all hosted inside of Thrivecart Learn. We have another section here. What do you do after? This is what you do next. But I also did something that I didn't tell them I would do. I created a few bonus videos where I basically walk them through the workbook. Why did I do this? Here, I'm essentially walking them through like, hey, you download this thing. Let me show you what actually happens inside of this download, because some people will buy it and never open it. So I'm essentially opening it for them. I printed it out. I walked them through and I'm like, hey, if at any point you want more support, you want more help, here's the next step. So it was very important for me to have videos because people want to connect with you in a visual and auditory way for them to be like, okay, I really want to work with you next. That's not enough by just getting a little downloadable. Now, if you've been struggling to start and you haven't even really gotten started and collected your first payment, click here to check out the next video, because in there I go over the 4 biggest trends that are making it super easy for anyone to start and grow an online business today. So you can take advantage of everything at your disposal right now to successfully grow and scale during one of the easiest times in history to do so.